again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back to Endzone, a world apart. It's good to see you all back for our third episode now, as I've gone back to try to right the wrongs of the past and do even better in this game, where things get just absolutely incredibly difficult. As you see here, I've finally built a medical center and also a school up here, going back and changing our city completely, and going off lessons learned in previous live streams and also in previous playthroughs. It seems like our city eventually runs into the ground with one of the most determining factor, not food or water or protection from radiation, but average confidence of settlers. The consequence for not keeping that confidence high is that everyone will basically move out before they even die. Now, we've also built a cemetery down here for them to mourn the dead of the past, and so that's bringing up our community confidence as well. There's like a tomb, and people can go down there. Things like the community wood set, or I guess like a community wood burning area, the school, the hospital, and the mortuary or whatever also bring up their confidence as well. So that's way more important than food and water and stuff later in the game, because you need a lot of people to do all the things that are needed in order to continue to produce goods. So luckily we've got 55 pharmaceuticals, and we got a doctor standing by treating a crazy amount of people. Only one person needs to work there. That's the maximum to treat all the people who are sick in the city. So really our only other problem now is homes, which are also being constructed as soon as somebody drops by to build them. We've got 6 people working on transporting regular goods and also bringing over wood, so that way they can continue to build those houses. But anyway, it is going to be a continued learning experience. So it seems a little bit like cheese going back, and I could completely agree. It's a little frustrating to have to start over again. However, once things start to dip in this game, it's almost like trying to pull up an overweighted plane. Once you kind of start to go down 1 or 2 degrees, it's all over. There's no coming back up. So as we try to continue on, we will do better and better and better. Now, one of the things that I've also learned too is that the water tower that we had before is also a rain catcher. So if we ever need additional water and we need it to be filtered, we can build ourselves a water tower that will then serve to filter the water and also collect it at the same time. So that's kind of cool. We're going to continue on gathering more water. Then it looks like that's one of our most needed things at the moment. Scrap is low, but that's why we have random settlers around to go gather scrap down here. This hangar and all that metal and scrap all around will be gathered up and brought over to help out the need for scrap to build more homes. Also, wood gathering is taking place as well. We've got ourselves a pharmaceutical and a gatherer down here working in the woods south of the camp, so that way they can get food and medicine to treat everybody who may be sick. And we're down to only 15 people sick. Great. We're really starting to fight that sickness. Now, another great thing is because we have the schoolhouse here and we have teachers inside, we will have more children grow up. I believe they grow up faster into adults, and also I think they're more productive as adults. If we look over the building for the school, if we go to the community, we click the question mark and go to school, it says it offers children a place to study and become educated adults. So that must give some sort of a bonus. I also feel as if they become adults faster, though it might just be because that's just how things go. We'll play on an elevated speed, and we'll wait for everything to be delivered. We have droughts continuously coming in, but the boardwalk, well, and cistern combo are a real winning combo. We also have a fishing dock here. But essentially, the way it works is that the well will continuously pump out water even when there's a drought, so we don't need to basically reduce any jobs here. We can always have people at the cistern, and once the lake dries up because of the drought, people will then turn to the well, and that'll be okay for the time being. Tools and masks are low, but I've got a lot of cloth in order to continue to make masks. They're just kind of gobbling them up as soon as they're produced, and same with the workshop as well. So let's see what other quests we have. Some of these are going to be impossible or a little risky, like this one here. Yeah, I don't know if I want to get 43 settlers yet. That would be the end of our camp, because that's way too many people to clothe and to give tools to. So though it might give us an immediate bonus, again, it's one of those things might put us over the edge and be no bueno. I'm going to build another workshop up here then, so that way we can continue to make more tools. And I'd like to get another tailor as well, but again, we need more and more people. And as for radiation, keep in mind that every time there's a sandstorm, yeah, everything becomes irradiated because of that, so we got to keep an eye on that. All right. So the need for tools and masks are still here, so we're going to keep focusing on that. And it looks like some of these people need more scrap in order to work, but it is coming in just very little by little. Materials are very limited at the moment, as we're still trying to eventually get up a scrapper that will work, but I, of course, need scrap if we're going to build something to gather scrap, and of course we need tools as well. So I'm going to try to put all those needs first. I'm not entirely certain what affects the confidence of settlers, so I'm trying to keep all numbers up as best I can. But I would assume things like coal or electronics they don't really care about. I would assume it's more tools, radiation protection, food, and water then are what they want, including shelter. So that's why we're trying to build houses as quickly as possible for all the people who are becoming adults from children. Otherwise, they'll move out or possibly die. I'm assuming some people do die. There is a grave here, 24 out of 48, but as soon as I built it, it piled up to 24, so I don't know if that's the dead of people beforehand or what, but I just know that we lose people due to confidence mostly. That's why we have 3 settlers with low confidence, and that's why 1 left. So we'll see it go as we continue on. All right. I'd like to build a scrapper building now and see if we can actually get something up for that. So let's go to, let's see, is that under resources? I've also built the marketplace before as well, and the marketplace allows you to get people known as logisticeers or logistics something. It has a weird name to it, whatever the people are who do that. And it doesn't really work as effectively as I was hoping. It doesn't give a huge confidence boost in the people. It does constantly keep them fed and makes the children then go to school rather than gathering food, but it's a very big investment for a very small reward. I also want to try to go on building a solar panel thing, so that's something we're definitely going to do in the future, is to provide solar power, which will increase the effectiveness of some of our buildings. So we might be able to build that over here. We just need to be able to build power lines to it, and we need a lot more scrap. So before we do that, then, let's build our scrap gathering area, the scrapyard, and we'll get that started by building that here, I think, on the corner. There we go. All right, we're going to need more materials in order to get that going. We're also going to need to build a forester, too. And I think we can try to use the forester up here as well. So let's put the forester lodge next to that. And then we'll also put a small storage yard next to that. So that way everything can be stored right away. Depository. All right, we're building a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, but as you see, the difficulty of the game ramps up as droughts are more frequent, radiation becomes more intense, and, well, it's not like camping. That's also intense, too, but we'll have to see what we can do to transport things around. Water and food are holding pretty steadily. It's just wood and scrap now that we need to focus on, so let's go for a quick pause. And let's go for gathering wood. Make sure we move that over there. Also, the developers did say hi as well, and we're watching the videos. So if you're working on the game, I would like to say you guys are doing a fantastic job. And if you, the viewer, would like to see more, make sure you go ahead and click, tap, blow up, destroy that like button if you haven't already. Glory to Raptoria down below in that comment section. And thanks to everybody for all of their crazy support, as well as all the people becoming members today by clicking and tap and join. A lot of people do that, so thanks again for all the support. I must say how thankful I am to have such a lovely group of survivors such as yourselves. We have quite a few homes now. The next thing I want to do is start upgrading the homes to hold water, which is good for whenever there's a drought. The water is immediately available at the homes rather than having to go to the market. The marketplace will sell everything that people require, but other than that, I'm not exactly sure how they get it. I think they go directly to the source, because even if food is stored at, for example, the depository, people like, for example, mushrooms here, sometimes go to the fishing dock to get food. I've seen them go back and forth, or at least I'm pretty sure that I've seen them do that. All right, scrap and whatnot are coming in. I'm going to make sure we build the scrapyard first. I'm going to put the logging camp and the depository on hold, and we're also going to need ourselves a workshop too as quickly as possible, but we'll put that on hold as well since that obviously requires scrap. So the scrapyard is going to be our first thing to do, and we have ourselves a drought incoming, so we need to stop here for a quick second. We're going to go ahead and readdress all free people to gather food. So we're going to stop all or slow down all water production, and we're going to go straight for the food because we need to boost that up. Next two things we need are food and scrap wood and scrap, so that way we can build the scrap yard, and then we'll be able to gather a lot more stuff. We do have a good source of materials nearby, a city all the way over here that we can actually demolish. A doctor's office. Ooh, we might be able to get a lot of pharmaceuticals from there. We need to build something called the Expedition Center, and I don't think I've seen that before in the game, so it might be something that unlocks later. I don't know how many buildings there are in the game. I really don't know. We'll have to find out as things go on, but I would love to see more resources. There's quite a few buildings in the game, though, so many different ways to get water and food and whatever you might need. Ah, good, and it looks like the housing problem is coming to an end as more homes are getting completed by our construction team, which is one guy with a hammer. Good job, Steve. All right, great. So, let's see. The next thing is the scrapyard then after the homes are complete. I'm going to go ahead and put this one on hold as well. And if we have one homeless, that's just the way it's going to have to be. We're holding pretty steady now with 14 children now in the town. We need a lot of them to be adults, though. This is really like Banished, where, you know, the kids are just eating and consuming and not actually putting in. But once they start to get into the workforce, you start to benefit a lot more. We're now in a drought, so let's go ahead and see if we can cancel some of these food jobs now. It's a little too late for us to do anything about food. Both fishing and gathering are expired at that point. So I'm going to put some more people on water. And then everybody else I'm going to leave as a settler to gather. I want to make sure we're gathering all the scrap required to finish up this giant scrapyard construction, which is essentially just a big crane on a building. So lessons learned from last time. A lot of lessons learned about not going for some of the goals. If they're a little out of your reach, don't even try, because sometimes that'll just tank your city completely. Another thing to worry about, like I mentioned, is the confidence. That's the most important thing in the game, and it's a little misleading because you don't know exactly what raises confidence except for buildings like the cemetery and the communal barbecue pit, or whatever you want to call it. But also the school, if parents have a place to send their children, then they'll be a little bit more confident about things. That's a sandstorm there that'll move all the soil now. So areas that we've cleared of radiation might be radioactive again. We've got to be careful about that. Well, good news. That marks the end of the sandstorm. The sandstorm marks the end of the drought, so that's a good thing to see. And then we can start getting people back on food gathering again. Water's still pretty solid, so that's good. No, it's a liquid. I'm just kidding. All right, and we're also going to go immediately into food gathering, too. And it looks like we've got enough materials to construct this. Oh, a little bit more scrap is required, but they're getting it done. As soon as I see water in the bottom of that lake, that's when I pause the game and immediately start putting people back to work. So if you play this game, I would highly recommend that if you start on a map and you're nowhere immediately near a lake, I would just restart, because the amount of effort it takes to try to build a rain catcher and go through that route is a little difficult. The rain catcher just gives you a lot of extra bonuses for whenever there's a drought, and you can quickly fill back up with the rain gatherers after a drought, which our drought is coming to an end right about now. We should see the lake filling up, and any second now. Oh, it's taking a little while longer. Luckily, droughts only last one day. There it is. Water now starting to fill the pond again. Let's go ahead and go right back into... Oh, we got a huge labor force now. 31 adults. That's beautiful. We have a forester available soon. Everybody else, though, I want gathering materials, though. I still want people on scrap gathering. And it looks like we're still getting more people producing tools, so that's good. The workshop is doing a good job of producing everything needed there. Trees are still coming in. Scrap is still coming in. More workers coming in. Good. Oh, and excellent. Now we can build the construction for the scrapyard can get complete. There's 60 on that thing, so I'm going to put a few workers on that. 4 people to do the construction there. And we're going to try to start solving all the problems here as quickly as possible. We also seem to have 12 plastic in storage, so I can start upgrading some of these homes to store water, but what we need is additional housing, so we have to... I think we could start with the all new homes will then be with tanks. Oh, looks like they take a lot more scrap, though, than we actually have. I'll go ahead and authorize that home to be constructed. Since it's got almost all the scrap, it's only going to take 5. But the scrapyard still takes our top priority in build progress. Look at all those animals there. They're kind of weird mutated deers, aren't they? They look like deers, but I don't know. They kind of look like... I don't know. They don't look like deers to me. They look mutated and angry. Alright, what's our next goal? The game wants us to gather 104 wood. We might be able to do that, but again, I would rather focus on keeping people happy. Once this thing drops probably 2 more notches, the game is over, and it's almost impossible. But again, the game is in early access closed beta, so that's exactly why it's in a closed beta, so that way we can play it and say, hey, this is quite tough to do. And the developers might change things a little bit more, so give us more items to keep the community happy. Alright, food is coming up. Water is a little scarce. Let's increase our water gathering. Food gathering seems good. Eventually we'll have to go for farming, but I haven't yet seen options for farming yet. So it might be something we unlock later on, so long as we give our people more stuff to do. We want more protective masks and more tools. And now finally we have ourselves the scrapyard. Excellent. Fantastic. Glory to Raptoria. Beautiful. Wonderful. Fantastic. Great. Astounding. Marvelous. Alright, let's go ahead and build our scrapyard here. I'm going to try to gain whatever is closest to us right now. 465 scrap is there, so let's go ahead and assign some people to the scrapyard. Where is that exactly? Salvage. All right, I'm going to go down to one builder. I'm going to put a few other people to salvage. Water still needs to come up, and food is critical right now. But that's mostly because of that drought that was around. Next thing I'd like to do is build a hunter's tent. And we can take advantage of those animals passing through town. That'll give us a nice boost. Although water is now finally being solutioned out. People from the cistern doing a good job of going down and getting water continuously. Good. And hopefully we have ourselves a little bit of time before our next sandstorm. So let's go ahead and try to put down some more homes. Let's try maybe 2 more houses here for our people. And let's add another food building. Let's go for it. Now, plantations and things are good, but they take time to grow and could immediately be destroyed by a sandstorm. So we're going to go for a hunting lodge this time. And I'm going to try to put that maybe up here because there seems to be a lot of wild animals on the outskirts of the camp. And down there we're already logging, so I don't want to go down there. I don't know if any human activity scares off the animals. So I'm going to just try to put it next to this other depository where food could be dropped off. And then eventually be brought back into town. So let's go ahead and make that our next main building to construct. And then we'll start doing things like the forestry yard next. In the meantime, all of our extra hands will be working on other stuff. So let's go for gathering wood. Looks like we're pretty much out of wood here. So let's gather the rest of it from over here. 105 should do. 101 will be just fine. Alright, so the water and food situation are not too bad. I've seen worse. 0 is bad, 360 is not. Alright, the housing situation should be solved soon. Materials are being dropped off by the workers for the housing. So essentially this works where the logistics, or rather the, what does the game call them? The settlers will transport goods needed to the construction site, and then the construction crews will actually build them. So that's good. Alright, looks like we're going to solve the problem with homes. Clothing will be next. And then finally we need to work on the tools thing. Looks like we have 2 in storage. But I'm going to get that hunter up first. Very good. Okay, let's see where the food might be. I think it highlights in orange wherever animals are. So I'm not entirely sure how to... Oh, there they are. Okay, so let's go ahead and hunt over here in this giant forest. Oh, wow, look, you can see right there. 690 food is waiting for us. So that'll double our food. Let's go ahead and add a couple of people to that. Let's see, what should we do? I think we might be able to hunt in the drought, but it might be impossible. The animals may pass away during that time. Alright, I'm also keeping people in all these businesses because they're barely functioning down here. In the community tab, I want to make sure I keep everybody happy, so I'm keeping those areas fulfilled. Otherwise, it's all over from what I've seen. Let's reduce salvagers and go for food. There we go. Alright, so we should have that up and ready. Let's get the depository up next. And the houses can be built at any time, too. I'll leave the construction crew onto that one. Again, I'm not too concerned about quests. Quests give us so good bonuses, but you'd have to change what you're doing to go strictly for the quest. And right now, I'm more concerned for the longevity of the camp. Now, I've seen farming in this game, so I know it's definitely a thing. What would be really cool in this game is the ability to build vehicles and go out, like, for example, with a giant truck and, like, go pick up a bunch of scrap. Have a group of, 10 people go out with a truck, load up a truck, and bring it back without having to go proceed on foot, speeding up things for us a little bit. Alright, food is a little scarce. Things are pretty good. 20 children, that's really promising. That's very promising. There is hope in this city. And though we lose a person from time to time, it's not impossible at the moment. Water is looking a little impossible right now, though. I think we just have too many people. The next thing we have to do then is build another boardwalk and another cistern, so that way more water can be gathered faster. So we'll have to spend even more scrap and even more wood on that. Looks like we're out of wood again. So let's go ahead and cancel this. And let's go for logging now. The forester will plant trees, and the forester will also cut down trees, so we can do 2 jobs with 1 and not run out of materials that way. So that's a good thing. Looks like we have 2 settlers ready for random jobs, so I'm going to keep them there to transport stuff around. And scrap is looking okay for now, so I'm just going to leave one person in there. And I want to try to cut down some more trees. So let's go for... Ah, perfect. They're working over there already, so that's good. So we want more lumber brought right over to the depository in the south. Now, I'm hoping, after the many times that I've done this, that this is probably going to be our last more optimal build, where I've tried to keep things a lot more organized. Things are spread out and closer to the source for industrial buildings that gather, but then we also have an industrial creation center, which my hopes there was to try to keep that close to a depository, giving space for other depositories, so that way, if somebody makes, for example, a plastic bottle, then they can take that bottle and then put it right into storage. Looks like we have 2 buildings there. Looks like we're getting a lot of microchips. Let's switch over to more cloth for our tailors. I want to make sure we can make more of that. We're at 0 right now, so we want to try to bring that number up. Good news, though. The tools are at 3. So tools are coming in, even though it says 17. People just need to be smart enough to go pick up a tool. So a lot of these problems' numbers could drop a little bit more if people go over faster to pick up stuff. Alright, another drought is on the horizon soon. So we definitely need to make sure we've got a lot more water gathered. And the logging site itself requires wood. Isn't that something? That's, in fact, the only thing that it's missing. So hopefully our free hands are over there working. All 7 of those settlers. Do we have another gathering area? Yeah, let's go ahead and cancel this now. Don't need that anymore. Come on over and gather wood, boys. All the wood is probably going towards other construction projects. Or it was, such as the homes. To which we need more homes again. Wow. It's a conundrum, this game. It's build a home, then you require wood, then you need more homes, which requires wood, then you need more homes, which require wood. And it goes on and on. I'm going to try to gather wood a little bit closer, see if I can manage something over here. Keep it closer to the depository, so that way it can be gathered faster. Food and water are not too bad for now. You can see all the people immediately going and gathering water. They're just taking jugs and bringing it and dumping it in the cistern. And there's definitely better ways to do that, like, for example, building the rain catcher, so that way it requires, or rather holds water itself. It holds up to 1,000 liters of water, but it doesn't filter it. And that's the point of having a water tower. I'm really happy that I've gotten beaten badly by this game a few times as well and had to restart, because that's all part of the learning process in these types of games where, you know, if it's going to be hardcore, it's got to be difficult and you need to learn from your lessons. Here it wants us to gather 200 scrap in order to get 7 metal tools and 30 wood, which would be good, but I don't think there's any way I can gather that much scrap as we're preparing for another drought. I'm going to stay the course now with our people. Looks like pharmaceuticals are starting to run out, so I'm going to have somebody go over to... I'm going to have a bunch of people go over to that. I'm going to reallocate a lot of our labor there. Maybe not so much, now that I look at it. Food staying at 260, even though we've got hunters available, fishermen, and gatherers. So food is definitely going to be a problem, though I see an increase in water. That's good. More homes required, even more. People are angry that we don't have homes. I need to start making them with the tanks, but again, we're trying to make that forestry site, so I don't want to use too much plastic or scrap from that, so that way we can keep all of our materials focused and labor focused on one thing. And there it goes. Fantastic. The building is pretty much complete. There we go. Excellent. Let's move the work area for this. And we'll go ahead and cut down trees here. Actually, I wonder if we could plant and cut down trees here. We'll plant and we'll gather from here. Cut and plant. Okay, let's assign some people to work there. So we can have 4 foresters. That's great. Construction still needs to go on. Water's still important. Food's still important. Refining is still important. We have 29 cloth. And we do need to build a workshop next so we can keep up with the tool needs, which will make our people make tools faster. And with tools, they can work faster. So it's all kind of connected. Alright, no more gathering wood here. Alright, so now all of our wood should be able to come from the forester. All the scrap should be able to come from the scrapyard, which has still 283 there. So now we're going to focus on building more protective clothing. So we have ourselves, the tailor should be working full-time. Looks like we need another tailor and we need another workshop, which we're already building. And we need more homes, which we're building. And we need food and water, which hopefully will come in soon. And we need more people to work those jobs, so that way they can actually get done. Looks like the cistern is doing a great job. If I build another cistern, though, it takes 5 people to work there. I don't have that type of labor at the moment. At least we have tools coming in. We have masks, I believe, coming in as well. A much more positive chapter, I would argue, for our city this time around. Though I don't want to speak too soon. And things are going quite well, though. Probably my most stable run so far, even though, again, food and water are low. The confidence is what is more important because we need that labor up to do other jobs. Labor and people to fill jobs are what we need. We need a workforce to do these things. Okay, we now have the 2 people working the workshop, so tools should increase greatly. And I'll build another warehouse. Not another warehouse, but a tailor. And then we can put those into the warehouse. So the great thing here is the Industrial Avenue here can put stuff into storage at the south or in the north. And I'm going to go ahead and authorize that to be constructed as well. We've got quite a lot of materials. Pharmaceuticals are coming in. Do we have 2 on that or 3? 2, okay, that's fine. Wow, what is this now? 9 population required? I'm still trying to... Oh man, we're still struggling. I'm going to leave jobs unassigned now because things just need to be transported to where they need to go. So we're going to leave the 4 settlers there with 1 builder. It's mostly now about things getting delivered. And then the builder can just come in right behind and do the job. Oh, now we're starting to get more people here for the job. Let's go ahead and assign 2 builders then. And 4 for transporting. So now those people are just simply transporting all the goods needed to go. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to lay out the rest of our housing. And I'm going to just still keep it basic homes, but I do want to eventually upgrade all the homes when we have enough plastic and extra scrap. We do have plenty of plastic and scrap now, but with other construction projects going on, these will take precedence over that. And I'm just going to pause these just so we have them laid out. Unfortunate about the contaminated soil, but nothing we can really do about that at the moment. And let's try to build another logistics road here. There we go. That'll keep everything interconnected. Looks like there's a road plan there, too. We'll build a road on this side, too. There we go. All right, and then any other areas I need to fill in homes, I think we'll build homes here, and maybe even here, too. And we'll leave some extra space for the industrial area for if they need more storage or other things. All right, another drought is approaching quickly. I really hope we have enough food for this. We have hunters, we have gatherers, we have fishermen. And it just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough still. Still want to build that tailor, though. That's going to be one of our top priorities, as well as the depository. And I can hear construction going, but we need more materials delivered. And another house there being constructed. Let's put these ones on pause. Nah, actually, this is okay. I want to continue to construct. That lowers confidence if we don't have homes. So does tools and clothing, protective clothing, so I want to make sure those are first. And then food and water are kind of almost important. You'd think food and water would be, like, if people don't have food and water, they'd be out of here, but they'll stay. It just lowers your overall score, so it's hard to see that number. But now, by failing so many times, I understand that it's not just food and water that are important, and it's not just those numbers being about, like, in the green. It's more about just giving them a little bit of everything. Protective masks are coming through, good. We now have just 4 people who need that. Another failed task. I don't mind that. Totally fine. Seems to be more of a trap. It distracts you from actually managing your town. Although it could be a big positive boost if you happen to get the right thing that you have plenty of and just need a little bit more. It becomes like a real big thing. Construction crews are going crazy. I can't believe we're not making enough water here still. It's just non-stop, like 24/7 water gathering here. I'm going to go ahead and try to do another boardwalk here. Let's do a boardwalk down here. And let's try to put a little storage thing nearby. we go. I really don't want them to walk too far for it. I even have a well next to the other one as well, so that way it can continue to function during droughts. So the people at the other boardwalk, these guys still have jobs when there's a drought. Even though the lake dries up, that well there can still produce water. I think I need to take advantage of that rain, but in order to do that, at this point in the game, I'd rather build a water tower. As you see, radiation is starting to increase a bit, so we need to limit the incoming sources of radiation. So the water tower filtering the water will help to limit the radiation that our people are experiencing. Okay, we need to get another person in construction, I think. We have a teacher. Is that enough for a school? I think one teacher can teach. Oh, it doesn't increase the limit or anything. Let's get 2. I want more. We have quite a few children, 20 kids. So let's get some more teaching so that way our kids can actually become a little bit more productive adults. That'll give us another secret bonus on the side. Another bonus you wouldn't think about, as well as higher quality tools, but right now we just got low quality tools, and that's fine. We got 18 people who need it, but hey, look at that. We got 7 in storage. Perfect. And they're starting to take more. Another home is needed. I can't believe it. Yeah, let's keep building these. Unfortunately, this cistern down here and the boardwalk are probably not going to be constructed before the drought, which is going to wipe us out. Food and water are going to be zeroed, and people are going to be mad about it. So we may as well hold off on some of these houses now that I think of it, actually. Because some people are going to move out of the city. They're going to be mad, so let's save those materials. So we have 3 people who want a home, but after this, trust me, they're going to shrink. Alright, protective clothing is still a thing. Did we build our other tailor? We did. So let's go ahead and take use of all of that extra material. Builders are still working away. Although there's nothing else for them to build now except for the roads. Those yellow dots should be them building roads. Or also the boardwalk and the cistern down there. Alright, looks like homelessness is still high. Alright, I guess I'll have to build it after all. Alright, so tools and protective wear is still coming in. Confidence is low, though. That is a red alert. That's a killer right there. That's critical. Right there, that thing. That's the entire game right there. That's what we need to worry about most. And that's going to plummet now with food and water being an issue. However, it can still be brought back up with us finishing homes and providing tools and protective clothing. So there's still a way to save this. We've got 38 fabric there. So let's go ahead and switch some of these guys over to... Actually, let's not. I want to make sure we're solely on... Alright, so the next thing is activated carbon masks. We can make those next, after all these basic ones are done. Essentially, they just last longer. I don't think they give an elevated protection. Maybe they do, but I also know they last longer, though. So if we make one of those, we're in much better shape. Looks like we still need another home. Alright, fine. I'll authorize all construction of the homes, now that we're facing our drought. And the sandstorm is on the way. Great sign, because that means the end of the drought marks the end of the... or rather, the sandstorm marks the end of the drought. Yeah. Build another well here, then. There we go. Alright, we got to get that area constructed as well. Haha. Okay. Whew, another big O sandstorm. So other things can happen too in the town as well. I haven't seen fires or anything like that, but luckily they haven't happened. We don't need those. It's not like my immersion is gone because of that. Okay, I also left people on fishing and hunting, but at this point it doesn't matter. We should just keep people on their jobs because it's too much of a pain in the neck to actually switch and like babysit all of that stuff. Alright, I'm gonna stop here though. I want to get more builders. Let's get more people in building. I want to make sure construction projects are done right away that have materials. Let's bring that confidence up. "13 people are at the cemetery, so I don't think we're seeing too many deaths. So we still have 3 tools, and masks are still needed even with the increase. Okay, and that boom, 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 boom we just heard is people bailing because they're upset. That's the death of the city right there. Okay, water's coming back. All right, all the homes required are built. We went from 41 to 38. Little upset that they didn't have a tool and a scarf. We're gonna have to readjust this labor shortly. So it seems like the best thing to do is during those droughts, take people off of food and try to get a big boost towards some other type of construction. All right, everything's as I predicted. We went from 41 to 35, and that's more about that condition. So we can't get any more materials from scrap. Let's do this. We need to make an immediate stop here before things go too far south. So let's do this. We need to continue to bring in cloth for the tailors, otherwise that goes all to heck. And scrap is not being brought in, so we can't make tools. So let's focus on what's more important at the moment, which is going to be water. We're getting a lot of ding-dings here, so let's try taking... if I take away from the community centers, that's it. Take away from the forester. Let's give him a medic. Let's go for that water. We're going to hear a couple more dings. From there, we'll take away from the tailor. Most important thing is that happiness. We're down to 3. That is the thing that absolutely kills you. If the low confidence drops, that's it. They leave. We're down from 41 to 29. We're losing the kids, so forget the teachers. We're still on gathering nothing. Solely now we're focused on food and water. One false move and that's it. The entire city can be cleared out from that. This is obviously some sort of a balancing thing, a balancing act that will have to be figured out by the developers too, since, like I called it, once it drops to a certain level, it's just out, 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 out. It takes 17 times as long for one person to move in as it does for people to leave. It's very difficult to get people in. And once they're born as well, you still got to carry them to safety by having them born and take care of them and give them all their needs and stuff. We're going to keep this city, though. I'm quite confident that even though we've suffered a shrinking, we can still save the city. The labor force almost cut in half. But I think we can manage it despite all the setbacks. I always need more and more and more and more people so we can do the more and more things to keep them happy. So it's like, there's 30 adults, they're unhappy, but we need 40 in order to provide all the things that they want because of the additional masks or the tools. But the first major things are food and water. So we're already focused on that. So we've got over 12 or so people on food and water. Actually, no, like the labor force there is like 20 plus in just food and water. In fact, I don't think there's anybody else. There's a healer, a medic. I don't think we need the medic anymore, or the mortician, but that, I think, drops our confidence since nobody's employed in those businesses. And look at that. We went from 13 to 30, so some of them left. Some of them die. Let's see if we can give a big boost to that confidence, though. Nothing else matters except for that confidence. Food and water just can't reach 0, that's all. Okay, so it looks like we're pulling up out of this nosedive. I may have actually managed it, I think. Let's keep a healer there. I need people on salvaging. Water, even with 10 people, is just barely coming in. To be honest, though, we don't need 5 of them because this one's not complete. And we don't need a second well keeper because that one's not complete. So that's another misleading thing where you can put people into a business that's not even built. So that's not something we should do. Okay. Let's see. So I think with each one of these episodes, if we happen to encounter a large problem like this, what I'll do is I'll revert to the previous save before the end of the episode and go through again, given the lessons that I learned in the actual playthrough, and then try to right the wrongs and keep on trucking until things are fully balanced. And again, that's why this is a closed beta. That's why pressing F1 literally brings up a thing to report any sort of errors or whatnot, or to take screenshots of things that are a problem. That's why the word development build is in the corner. And that's why it says closed beta on the minimap. Things need to be improved, including my gaming skills. Looks like they now want us to have a settlement population of 79. The game continues to up itself, but it's like I can't keep up with that. We have to kind of play via the droughts. We have to play between the droughts, otherwise it's bad times. All right, everyone, that is it for today's episode. Thank you very much for joining me and smashing that like button. I'm going to go ahead and see you right about here where we left off, where we're going to increase our water supply. And this is our final city. This one worked the best, even though it still has its problems. But I'm going to try to fix those and iron those out. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for the positivity. Hope to see you soon. Again, smash like so we can see more of these episodes. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.